Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Cracking the Cryptic. Last time we did Cuisenaire rods, and I've slept since then, so I kind of don't remember much of it, so I don't have much to say. Although I do have this feeling that I very possibly only accomplished doing Cuisenaire rods in that day, which at 243 minutes, that's very, very plausible. So we're now going to do X and V-ish sandwich, a sandwich XV Sudoku, which I don't know if I've really loved the sandwich varieties that much, but honestly, as we're getting closer towards the end here, a lot of these variants are getting maligned, probably a little unfairly in my mind, just on the fact that these puzzles are way too difficult. This is Mr. Menace who made this puzzle. Like, it's just, they're giving us way too difficult things when honestly you should have much easier puzzles in between this. The danger here is that they've created a game, at least in this free to start free sample selection, that implies it is only for the smartest of the smart Sudoku solvers, which makes your target audience to sell a product potentially be in the hundreds, if not in the tens of people, when you need to target hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not hundreds of millions of people to potentially even sell your game to just a million people. Anyways, this will be classic rules. The numbers 1 through 9, the digits 1 through 9 must be in every row, every column, and every box. And sandwich rules that says, and this explanation is not particularly good, the numbers outside each row and column, these numbers here and here, correspond to the sum of numbers in between 1 and 9 in this case. It would be in the column. In this case, it would be in that row. Then we have a partial XV, which is going to give us a little bit more information. A X in between two cells means the two digits must add up to 10. A V between two cells means the sum must be 5. But it's only partial, so not all X's and V's are given. And like the rest of these variants, we know that there's a situation here where we're starting with no numbers whatsoever. And yeah, I suggested it in the previous recording, but it really would make sense if you're really just wanting to highlight these kinds of difficult puzzles. Perhaps in the free sample versions of them, you start with the puzzle half solved, or perhaps you just have a difficulty option where you start with it completely emptied, and then you can say lower the difficulty through the settings, and then you would start, it would jump to a phase where several numbers were already inputted, or it would jump to a spot where several more numbers are inputted for an easy mode. Although even that concept kind of falls apart if it is a situation where you really need to go through the whole process from the beginning to see how you got with the starting numbers. But you kind of don't. Like a classic Sudoku without any variant in it, you would start with numbers. At no point do you really need to know why those numbers are specifically the starting numbers, and there really isn't a logic behind why those numbers in a classic Sudoku would be the starting numbers, other than the logic of some numbers were picked and the puzzle was tested so it could be solved. I imagine with classic Sudoku, if you put just the number 1 here and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I imagine that would not be enough variety to actually solve a Sudoku. It would leave too many variations in which you could put the rest of them, and you need 17 digits at minimum mathematically, or at least they think they've proven that. So this would only give you 9. So if you did 1 here through 9 here, and then 1 through 8 here to get to 17, you still probably would not be able to fill in the rest of the Sudoku. Okay, let's start working on this. We've got our combinations here. So if you have a 30 here, there's 2 options as a big number and 2 options as a big number here. There's a decent chance that this one and this one cannot be the same combination. If we have a 4 here, we'll solve that as soon as we know where 4 is. Same is true here. 15 here. It still would be very possible to satisfy this x here and this x here and do several of these other combinations, I suspect. Let's see. But what we can do with x's is we know that x has to equal 10. So this one and this one and this one and this one can't be a 1, 9. So we can put a little x on these x spots, which then limits us to having a 1, 9 in between this. Do we have another situation like that? Yes. We can't have a 1, 9 here either, or a 1, 9 here either, which also means that you can't have like a 1, 9 here and here, but you could have a 1, 9 here and here, or here and here, and you could have a 1, 9 in the middle and a 1, 9 on either side to make 2. Well, wait a minute, can we? Because if this was 1 or 9, and then this was 2, 3, 5, which wouldn't even add up to 10, so that wouldn't work. Then this was 1, 9. That wouldn't work either. So this can't be 1, 9. There's no combination where 2 and 3 and 5 get to 10. So that's an x, which inherently means either this is 1, 9, this is a 1, 9, this is a 1, 9, or this is a 1, 9, which we can, I guess, go ahead and mark, and we can go ahead and eliminate that as a possibility. So it's either on this side or this side, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, or 4 and 6. So that starts us off with some information. Now this has a 5, and we know 1, 9 obviously can't be in these spots, because 1 and 9 would not add up to 5. But one of these could be 1 here, and then a 9 could be here, so actually let's undo that. That's not accurate. But wait a minute, let's take that logic to the next step. If there was a 1 here, and then a 4 in between, then that couldn't be 9. But there could be a 1 here, and a 4 here, and then a 5 or a 2 and 3 here. So yeah, I don't think we've got any information yet. Well, once we place the 3 here, it'll be the same situation as this 4, this 6. I don't think we have any information from this. I mean, we know a 1 and 9 can't be here, but that doesn't really stop any of these combinations. We know a 1 or 9 can't be here and can't be here, which then would eliminate some of these possibilities. I don't know if I should highlight that with an X or what? Yeah, the X really is just being used to indicate it can't be a 1 or 9. It's not being used to indicate that it can't be any of the digits in between the column combination. But it does seem like you could have a 1 or 9 here, and then you could have 2 digits, and then a 1 or 9 here. It's just a case that you can't have a 1 and 9 here and a 1 and 9 here, which we already knew, which means I really shouldn't mark that at all. So what's the next step? There is no 1, 9 here, so it is a possibility that this could be 1, 9. So I guess what we probably would want to do is think, what are the digits that we can have to equal 5? Be 1 and 4, 2 and 3. There are no other options there. Then what are the digits that we can have to have 10 here if we know it's not a 1, 9? It could be 2 and 8, 7 and 3, and 4 and 6. It can't be 5 and 5, because that would be a duplicate number. And then this could be 1 and 9, or 2 and 8, or 3 and 7, or 4 or 6. In that spot. So does that potentially take us to the next step? Is the triple of a possibility of a 3 in these squares mean that a 3 has to be in the square? No. Not at all. Let's see. Let's ask this question. If one of these has to be 2 and 3, and the other has to be 1 and 4, which means the 1 and 9 has to be here, and then it has to be 2 or 3, or the 1 and 9 has to be here, and this has to be 2 and 3. Which I guess again means we can put an X here. And then I guess we could mark those as 1 and 9 options, unless it's a case, and I suppose this is still possible, that this could be 5 still. It could be 1 and 4, then 1 or 9, then a 5, then 1 or 9. Then 2 and 3 here just wouldn't matter, even though that does add up to 5. And then any random digit there. No, let's not mark all of those. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to just supersede a 5 there as something to think about. If there was a 4 here and a 4 here, we could figure it out. But I don't think there's enough information yet to do anything with that. There's perhaps some limitations here, but I don't think it's that much. Like this could be 1 or 9, and then this could be 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and then this could be 1 or 9, and then there would just be 2 digits remaining as 1, as 5, and I guess it should just be 5 if you have a 1 and a 9 on either side. So if we can figure out where the 5 is here, this will settle us down, assuming that this is a combination. If this is a combination, so we gotta have to eliminate this combination too before that would help us. But it does seem like 5s might play a role. We know 2, 3, 5's not an option there. If we found where the 5 was here, that would help us. Let's see. There's so many different ways to make 10 that if this was 2, 8, it would eliminate everything here that has a 2 in it and everything here that has an 8 in it. And if we could figure out what this is, that would probably eliminate several other spots. But yeah, I don't think we're there yet. So the move here is to figure out what the next step is. So 2, 4. If there were 2 5s in this column, then we would know that 2 and 3 would have to be one of them. But it means not quite enough. Like, this could be 1 and 4, and then the 4 could be next to the 2, but then that you can get a 1, 9 below that, so that wouldn't work. This could be 4 here and a 1 here, and then a 9 here, or a 2 here and then a 9 here. And that wouldn't work either, because 1, 9 can't be in that spot. Like, we already know a 1, 9 is going to be in one of these 4 spots. These are all paired together, and I don't know if it's worth really highlighting it with a background to highlight that, but we do know that to be the case. So if I could just eliminate 6 as a possibility, then we know this has to be nope, this can't be this. So 2 and 4 then can't be in this order. There's just no way 2 and 4 is here, unless, I mean, we could have like a 1, 9, a 6, a 1, 9 here, and then you would still have to have a, it still couldn't be 1 and 4, still can't be the 2 4 combination. There's no way to do it. Yep. This has to be something else, doesn't it? Yeah, it has to be 2, 3. It really does. Yeah. Now, if this was 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 here, then you would need a 4 here and a 1, 9, and that wouldn't work. So I think we are, if I'm thinking correctly here, I think we've eliminated every possibility that this isn't a 2, 3, and in between here and this point there's a 1, 9 and a 6. Right. So that has to be 2, 3. That can't be a 1, 9. this isn't going to be 4, then 2, then the 1 or 9. This could be a 1, 9. And then the 6 could be here, and then this could be a 1, 9. Or this could be a 1, 9. And then the 6 could be here, and then that would be a 1, 9. Nope. So, possibilities here are that that could be a 1, 9, a 6 could be here, and that could be a 1, 9. This could be a 1, 9, the 6 could be here, and then that would be a 1, 9. And so we are thinking 6 in those two spots. So, if we've logically made decisions to this column, I wonder if this doesn't just cross back into this column and potentially ruin a possibility. Because if there was a 4, 6 here, then a 6 couldn't be here, but a 6 could be here. So this could be 4, 6, this could be 3, 7, the 1, 9 could be here, 1, 9 could be here. It could be also 3, 7, and 2, 8 with the 6 here. So eventually I think we will boil down the possibilities on this row, which will then crisscross and reduce the possibilities on this column and get us into a introductory path to solve the rest of this. But I think there's probably some more that still needs to happen. Of the options here, we probably should mark this. I thought about marking this before and didn't. We should mark this as 2, 3, and a higher level, and that means something different than these higher levels as a possibility. But yeah, either these are a 2, 3 pair or they are a 1, 4 pair. Okay, that looks better. So in the combinations here, a 2 or 3 would mean the 1, 9 has to be here. A 1 would mean that the combination starts here, or 4 could be part of the combination. So, ignoring the 1 for a second, the rest of these are either 4 or 5 in length. So if I did this with a 1, 9, then 1, 2, 3, 4 in length, then a 1, 9 there, that's fine. 5 in length, and then a 1, 9 here is fine. If I did a 1 here, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, then a 1, 9 is fine. And then 5, and a 1, 9 here is fine. So it seems like every possibility is still valid. That didn't give me any extra information. But this 9 column may very well give me all the information I need. Let's see. If this was 1, 9, then 2 or 3 or 4. Then I would need the other 2 or 3 or 4. The other 2 is 3 or 4. And then that would have to be a 1, 9. And we know that can't be a 1, 9. So the 3 combination cannot work. So this has to be either 1, 9 and then 2 or 3 or 4. and then the complement to 2 or 3 or 4, that would be 9, the 9's complement, whatever that digit is, and then 1 9 here. Or this could be a 1, and then this could be a digit 2 3 or 4, and then the 9's complement to this digit would be here, and then that would have to be 1 9. So this can't be 1. Yeah, at that level. No, this cannot be 1, because then it would have to be paired with that. So just take that off as a possibility. And honestly, I think we probably solved more than that, but at the very least we know this is a 1 9, and this is a 1 9, and then this here. I wish I had a symbol. I don't even know what the symbol would be in mathematics for a 9's complement. Like, I only know that phrase and have heard it spoken. I haven't seen anybody write it down, and it probably is some Greek symbol like lambda or mu or something. It's probably not even that common. But yeah, it certainly would be nice to be able to just type in a note in every cube, if that's what you have to do. Then you could put a little triangle in the corner and say, here's a note you wrote, although symbols is what we're using for everything else. Unfortunately, if I was trying to make a complement background icon even, it, like, nothing here screams 9's complement. I could pair that like that, and I guess that's the closest thing you could do. We don't know what the real combination here is. We can get rid of the possibility of a 4 here now, that this is either 2 3 or 1 being here and 4 being here, or this could be 2 or 3, or this could be 2 or 3. There's a mathematics problem called like the 4-color theory, I believe is what it's called, where theoretically, if you're very careful about it, you can map every single part of every single region of a map, and in this case it would be of these squares, using only 4 colors. The game gives us 9, but in practical use you really wouldn't want just even 9, let alone 4 colors. You would want as many as you can possibly get. You'd want just a color picker to be able to adjust and change what the colors are, and then have like 9 custom colors, but you'd also want to be able to just like right click these buttons and switch it to a different color if you ever needed to. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if I can do too much more. I can mark those with X's, and I don't think that changes anything, really. I don't think I can say, well, if this was 2, this would be 7, therefore I know what these other numbers have to not be 2 and 7, because this could also be 3 and this could be 6, or it could be 4 and 5, so there's no guarantee there. I can look at this and say, well, if it needs to be a 1 9, then a 4, then this. That still doesn't change anything. You could have a 1 9 and a 4 in the middle where the X is. The only, I guess, real problem would be, could you put a 1 9 at the very edges of a map? you can't do a 1-9 pair at the edge. You can't do like 1-9 here and 1-9 here. But you could have a 1-9 here and then some numbers and then a 1-9 here, or a 1-9 here and then some numbers and a 1-9 there. Let's go back to 5 and see if we've made any more progress. It doesn't really feel like the smallest numbers are guaranteed to be the best numbers. It feels very much like almost anything could happen. If there was a 1-9 here, then there definitely can't be a 1-9 here. So once we figure out one of these two columns, it'll help us figure out that. If there was a 4 here, and then a 5 here, then we would know this can't be 1-9, 4, 1-9, but nothing really stops this from potentially being that. This 1-9 here doesn't have to be a 1-9. Yeah, a lot of combinations. It'll get narrowed down as we solve these combinations. It definitely seems like this puzzle in particular, had it given me even 1, 1, or 9 to start the puzzle, would have set me off on a very easier path. Yeah. I guess it probably would be helpful too if we had you have a superset where you can put the numbers above, but you don't have an underset where you can put numbers below. And since they're in these 10 combinations are scenarios where it would be helpful to split that apart. Like in this case in particular, I want it to be known that this could be a 2 or an 8, and this could be paired with a 2 or 8 complement, a 10's complement in this case of whatever this is, or this could be 3 and 7, or it could be 4 and 6, but it can't be 3 and 4, and it can't be 6 and 3, which would make me want to put a subset number down here at the bottom to show a pair. And color wise, particularly since you can't make notes on the colors, yeah, no way to do that. I guess you could go red and then use red in a very different way here to say you're coloring the pairs differently like that, but you don't have other color options there. Again, a color picker and a third button right here would make all the sense in the world if I could change the font to say maybe black and blue ink is too close to each other, but maybe a purple or an orange ink, or yellow or green. Green would be great, yeah. If I could just make a green pair. If this is 2, since we know this can't be 1 and 4, we eliminated that, then that eliminates a 2-8 pairing. If this was 3, since that's the other option, and I think we did logically eliminate that this can't be 1 and 4. If this was 3, then it would eliminate the 3-7 pair. So we know the 4-6 pair has to be in one of these two combinations. So 4-6 is in a weird way. I guess we should probably switch all of that around then. Now I'm doing a lot of extra work here. 4, 6, 2, 8. Then 4, 6, 2, 8. Yeah, that is more accurate. Now we know a 4 and a 6 has to be here. That's more accurate with labeling this as we think this might be a 5 or a 6. But the real logic here is then going to be in the combinations. If we now know that there is no way you are going to get a 1, 9 and a 4, 6 in that combination, that can't be right. And I believe also means that can't be right. And I believe that can't be right. Okay. Let's think about this some more. A 1, 9 here couldn't be connected to this. So this is either going to be 1, 9 and then 2, 5, 8, 1, 9, or 1, 9, 3, 4, 8, 1, 9. Maybe not in these combinations. Definitely not in those combinations. It would really have to be 4, 3, 8, or 8, 3, 4. But 1, 9, 3, 5, 7. Could it ever be, though, 1, 9, 7, 8, 1, 9, or 1, 9, 7, 8, 1, 9? No. So that's not a combination either. And then I think we have more logic can be applied here, because 3, 7 is a possible combination to get to 10. So if we know one is going to be 4, 6, could the other be 2, 8? And then you could do 1, 9, 5, 3, 7, 1, 9. Yeah, I think that works. Could we do 1, 9, 3, or 4, 8, 4, 3, 8, 1, 9, which then would eliminate 2 and 8 as a possibility, and 4 and 6 as a possibility, which we know, or at least I think we confirmed, that 4 and 6 has to be in one of these two. Although I don't remember how I confirmed that. So I'm going to have to just move forward on faith, or I would have to just backtrack and rediscover why I wrote that down. I'm fairly certain I was right. So yeah, this is not a combination, assuming everything is correct here. And then I guess if we had a 1, 9 and then a 5, 2, 8, that would eliminate the 2, 8 combination, giving us a 3, 7 combination and a 4, 6 combination. And then if it was 1, 9, 5, 2, 8, I mean 1, 9, 5, 3, 7, 1, 9, that would eliminate the 3, 7 combination. So we've got it down now where this one and this one are either 5, 8, or 7 as a possibility. And we've got it where this one and this one have to be a 1, 9 pair. And so we have an entire row here now filled in, but I don't know if that helps me too much. Although it probably does, because now if we have a confirmed 1, 9 at this spot, then we have some circular logic that will spiral where this combination probably won't fit to make this be a 1, which will mean this can't be a 4, which means this here maybe can't be a 4-1 combination, which honestly it can't be a 4-1 combination anyways. Yeah, we actually should be, before I even go any further, we should already have known this, that this couldn't have been 4, then 1, and then 2 and 3 and 1, 9. Although maybe it could have been, but then this can't be a 1 if that was the case. This could be 4, 1, then 5, but not a 1, 9. So it would have to be 4, 1, then 2, then 3, and then a 1, 9. Which, if this was 4, 1, then this would have to be 2 or 3. So something weird is happening here, where I think we probably already have the solution here, that this has to be a 1, 9, 5, then 1, 9. But how do we even fit that in? Yeah, it would have to be 2, 3 here, 2, 3 here, 1, 9, 5, 1, 9, or 4, 1, 2, 3 here, which it couldn't be 2, 3 here, 1, 9. I don't know how the 1 works in this. Is there another way to get to 5? No, the possible combinations to 5 are 1 plus 4 or 2 plus 3. So a 1 here seems wrong. A 1, 9 here and then a 5 here wouldn't work. So pretty much has to be 1, 9, 2, 3, 1, 9 here. But then how do you get a 1, 4 here? That doesn't work either. 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 9, 2, 3. Doesn't work. So I'm going around in circles, and there's obviously something wrong here in my logic, but I don't know what it is. Let's come in from this angle and hope that this logic is better. If this is a 1 and 9, then we now know it's either 4 or 5 steps, 5 digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 1 and 9 here, or a 5 and a 1 here. So small possibility though, it would be 4. If we proved it, it would be 4. We would be certain then that this probably is not a 1. And then this would have to be a 2 and 3. And so we're going to have to come back and look at this again. A 1 and a 9 and a 2 and a 3 does not work because the sum of these two digits have to add up to 5. So the only way this would work is that you would have a 1 and a 2, you wouldn't have a 1, 9 here. You would have a 4 and then a 1 here. And then a 5 here. Then a 9 here. And so maybe I've mislabeled this spot as being incapable of having a 1 or 9 in it, when maybe I'm wrong about that. I think it definitely makes sense to remove that information. Yeah, it seems to me, and I'm 45 minutes in and I want to go faster on these, so I'm just going to start trying. Seems to me that this has to be a 4, and I'm wrong about that. Okay. So if that doesn't have to be a 4, let's take back. Go back and reread the rules. A V between two cells indicates the cells sum to 5. Okay. Possible combinations for 5 are 2, 3, and then 4, but you couldn't have a 1 here because then it would have to be 1, 2, 3 or 1, 5 here. Could be 1 here, but since we've already checked that, then this must just be 2, 3, and then that may not matter, and then there must be a 1, 9 with a 5 in between, which basically means what? The 1 has to be here. Let's test that. Yes. And then that has to be 5. And then that has to be 9. So I was wrong about that. That removes a lot of the 1 9s. And the 4 has to be there. And so, yes, in fairness, I guessed a little bit in this process. But I'm not going to be super upset by guessing if that saves me another 20 minutes potentially of agonizing over what the answers might be. So if this is correct, then this 4 should have a 9 complement of a 5 there. And that is correct too. So we can de-highlight that. It also then means that this has to be a 9. Nope. I'm wrong about that? Well, if I'm wrong about this being a 9, and this is a 1, then there can only be a 1 and a 9 in this box. Then I just totally guessed that this was a 5 on accident. And I think that then brings everything else into suspicion So let's get rid of all the X's there, because I have no idea. And let's clear that 1, 9 there, because I have no idea. So there was some faulty logic here. And I guess that means it isn't 4 and 5 as the combination there. So then the question is, how many other mistakes have I made? We can say from the 6 that this one and this one are not ones. And inherently, since we have the 9 here already, this has to be the 1, so that's not a 1 either. Could have just marked that as a 1, which then means we know this is 6. We're back on the logical path, which means this square, this square, this square, and this square include 4, 5, 7, and 8, but not the 2, 3 pair that is here. Also means this and this don't really need X's anymore. Okay. And we should be making a decent amount of progress. It does feel like maybe I am solving this one a little bit faster, but it definitely also feels like at any point I could just hit major speed bumps. We definitely, I don't think, are at a point where just basic Sudoku would help me. Let's go ahead and get rid of this 9 too, since we have already proven through just trying it and the game telling us it was wrong. 4. Okay, since 4 is here as an option, but 1 is not here as an option, we can get rid of that 4. And since we know that 4 can't be between here and here, and can't be between here and here, that then the options are 1, 9 is here, 4 is here, 1, 9 is here, 4 is here, and 1, 9 is here. Or 1, 9 is here, 4 is here, 1, 9. So these two are 1, 9 plus 4, and these two are just 1, 9 possibilities, but not inherently the only possibilities. You see, I don't know if that makes much of a triplicate or a quadruple to guarantee what numbers are here. Just because this could be 4, 5, 7, or 8 doesn't mean this has to be 4. If we do prove that, then we'll know where the 1 and the 9 goes here, which can be helpful. If this one can't be 1 anymore, then that can't be 9 anymore, which we need a 1 and a 9 in this box, and that seems undoable. This 1 seems to have locked down this as being a 9, which, yeah. Is there any possible combination here? But that isn't the case. No, I don't think so. So let's lock that in. 9. Locking that one down as a 1. If I can click the right buttons. Which that eliminates the possibility of that being 1, which maybe that would be helpful later. Okay. And we need a 1 in each column and a 9 in each column. So that'll play a role. We need a 1 and 9 in this box, and that'll play a role. We could certainly mark all of those as potentially being 1 9s. And then see if any of that changes much. Much of anything. Yeah, if we know a 1 9 can't be anywhere else in these 3 boxes, because the 1's here and the 9's here, and we know 9 can't be here because the 1 here eliminates this as a 1, and this has to complement to 10. That does mean, and we know this has to be a 2 5, 2 3, to sum to 5. That means the 1 9 has to be here, here, or here, which we got that. Which logically, because of this, it would be convenient if this was 1 9 4 1 9, which then would work pretty well. But what if it was 1 9 here and then either 1 9 here or 1 9 here, and then there was a 4 here, and then there was a 1 9 here, or a 4 here and there's a 1 9 here? We could mark those as possibilities. Say we're looking at 4 being there, also looking at 4 being there. Does that as a possibility get eliminated? Not inherently. This 1 9 could be here, and then a 3 could be here, and a 1 9 could be here. The 1 9 could be here, and in this case it would have to be 1. And then you can have a 3 and a 6, and then a 9 here, or a 2 and a 7 and a 9 here. So those all do still seem like fairly valid possibilities. So what would our next step be? If we know if this was 1 9, then if we lock that down, 2 and then 3, then 4, then 6, then 7 would not work. No. We would need 6 digits. There's only 5 digits at the beginning here and only 3 digits here if this is a 1 9. So let's look at the other combination. We would need still 6 digits because you need a 1 9 on the other side, but you would need 5 digits otherwise. So, but it couldn't be that combination either, because the shorter combination doesn't have a 2 or a 3 in it. So we really don't even have to do any further calculation there. So there is absolutely no way then that's a 1 9. That won't work. Okay. So we need a 1, 9 in this box, which then lets us clear some things. And I think straight up just lets us put a 4 here. Yeah. And then you have a 5, 7, 8 triple, which that doesn't help you anymore. I could put in the possibilities of numbers here. It probably is just beneficial to remove all the X's if you're not going to use them anymore. Although that's premature because I am going to use them more. Since 3 can only be done with 3, then we know a 3 is not here now. And whatever the combination is here, we'll figure something out later. If 3 can't be here, 7 can't be there. It still could be 3, 7. If 2 and 3 are going to be included, then it would have to be, I mean, it kind of could be anything. It could be a 1, 9 here, and then several numbers and 1, 9 here, or it could be a 1, 9 here, then several numbers and 1, 9 here. We don't have enough information, I think, to do anything with that. There is a decent chance that either the 1 is here or here. Fours. Still what? I guess we may have eliminated all the other possibilities here. Other than this just being 2, 3. Which that being superset now doesn't make a lot of sense. Should just be 2, 3. Pair. Down that way. And we already know that it was a 5, and we've already solved that 5. I guess there's a question that maybe could be asked about 6. 6 could be here, 6 could be here. Then 5, 7, 8. If there was a 5 here, that would tell us it's this combination. I don't think there's a way you could do 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 if the 5 was in the middle. There just wouldn't be enough room. Still a possibility that this could be 9 here, 1 here, 4 here. And then if that was the case, this couldn't be a 3. Otherwise, this could be a 1, and then a 4, and then a 9, and then this could be a 3, and then this would be a 9. Already solved that. Probably can't solve that one. Probably can't solve that one. I'm trying to figure out what the next step really would be. And I think, again, just trying to save time, we're 63 minutes in. I think it probably is just going to be beneficial to use a hint. But before we do that, if this combination here was 5, 3, 7, that eliminates the 3, 7. Same situation we had before. Then there could be a 6 here and a 4 here. If this combination was 2, 5, 8, then it would eliminate 2, 8 here and 2, 8 here, leaving it with a 3, 7 and a 4, 6. And in these other boxes, we don't have anything marked so far as what we could be in here. We could do that, and that may give us some information. Let's see. We know in the rest of this box that it's going to be 2, 3, not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not 9, and not 1. That's the numbers in those boxes. And then here, the combination of possibilities, I think is just too high. Eventually we may get to a point where it makes sense. Alright, let's just mark this. I'm looking at this box. The options here would still be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9. Just removing everything except adding everything except for the 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But not the 9. Then this one can lose the 1. Pretty obviously. This one is probably not 1, but I'll leave that. So a 1 could be, a 9 could be here still. The 1 couldn't. And the 1 could be here or here, but the 9 couldn't. Sorry, I'm yawning here. Would it change much? As far as possible combinations in this column, I mean this row. No, I don't think so. A 4 here, a 1 here, still could work. A 2 here, 3 here, or 2 here, 3 here, still could work. We, I guess, effectively know that the number 4 is not in this box. So maybe that means something. Let's see. If we say that can't be 4, and then this can't be 4, because the number 4 is here. Then we look at combinations. That means the number 4 we've determined is already over here and proven the game has told me that's right. It does put us with a 4 possibility either here or there, which then eliminates the 4. If the 4 was here, it would eliminate this 4, making this have to be a 2-3 pair, which would be convenient. Is there any bit of information that helps me with, though? Not really. We could also say the 1s can't be here because of that, and we can't say the same there, but that wouldn't change much of anything. I still don't think this is that complicated. This combination is probably eliminated. Couldn't have 9, then 4, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, because there's a 1 there. So we could, I guess, fill in the remaining of these possibilities. Just highlight all of these, and with some fresh information, we can say the possibilities are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Okay. And then this one can lose the 4 and the 5 as a possibility, and the 6 as a possibility, just because of this basic Sudoku reasoning. And then that means on the outside here, with fresh information, the possibilities it still could be several things, because the 2 could be on the outside, and then the 3 could be on the outside, the 4 could be on the outside, but the 5 has to be on the inside. The 6 could be on the outside, the 7 and the 8 can be on the outside. So all we know then is that one of these has to be a 5. Which, if we could narrow it down a little bit to just the 5 being in this box, that would be helpful. This one can't be 5, come to think of it, because it's on the X pattern. So that narrows it down a little bit more. Five needs to be on the outside of whatever the sandwich is in this row. So it's probably here. That would be my guess. it's not going to really do anything for us, but let's pretty up this by putting the 2, 8 here, and then moving the 2, 8 here, and then we'll replace the 3 and 7 with reds, so we better understand the pairing, the possibilities. I don't think that tells us anything new, though, now that we can see things better. This could be a 9, this could be a 2, 8, and then a 1. This could be a 9, this could be a 2, 8. I mean, this could be a 1, then this could be a 2, 8, and a 9. Could also be a 3, 7. Could also be a 3, 6. There's a decent chance that the 1 is here and the 9 is here, but no real guarantee of that. Could be the opposite. So we need to make progress, I imagine, somewhere else first. If the 1 or 9 was here, and then the 4 was here, and the 1 and 9 is here, then that doesn't tell us anything special about the 1 and 9. If we could narrow it down to the 4 is here, a 1 is here, and a 9 is here, then we would know something then. It's still probably not worth it to fill in the rest of these squares. We could do that, and it seems like usually that is what happens in these puzzles. But it is also the feeling, I definitely have the feeling that that is in part when I start to go off the rails a little bit in solving these puzzles. Once I'm just filling in every single possibility. Okay, let's look at this box. It looks to me like a 5 can only be here now. This 5 eliminated this, so this might be the next step into this. You can't have a 5 on the X patterns here or here. You can't have 5 equal 5, and you can't have a 5 on these X patterns. So that's got to be 5, which inherently means that this, well, it's not even really connected, but this couldn't have been a 5 once we'd put that as a 5. So the 5 has to be in this box, the 5 has to be in this column. When we look at the pattern there, that doesn't change anything. And when we look at basic Sudoku stuff, I don't know why you can't have a 5 here. Oh, because the pattern says the 5 has to be here. Is there a possibility that the 5 is here? Yes. Is there a possibility that the 5 is here? Yes. If the 5 is here, it would eliminate this, but not that possibility. So that won't lead to enough information. We have this like marked as 9, but that doesn't guarantee it's a 9, and we have this marked as 4, when that may not be the only possibility. Let's see. Let's consider this. Could a 1 be here? Yes. I think it could. Could a 2 be here? Well, wait a minute. Could a 1 be there? No. Because then you'd have only 4 spaces and you need 5 digits before you put a 9, so it can't be 1. Couldn't a 2 be here? think that's a possibility. Can a 3 be here? I think that's a possibility. 4 can be there. 5 can't be here. 6 can't be here. Can a 7 be here? Seems possible. And can an 8 be here? Seems possible. Same questions asked again. Can a 2 be here? Can a 1 be here? If a 1 was here, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there would have to be a 9 here, and that's not enough room. So it can't be 1, can be 2. Can it be 3? Yes. Can it be 5? No. Can it be 6? No. Can it be 7? Yes. Can it be 8? Yes. Right. So at least we clarified some information there. But we do know that 4 really should only fit in this spot. At least that seems to be the case. That the 4 couldn't be here because you couldn't do 1, 9, 4, 1, 9, and the 4 can't be here because you can't do 1, 9, 4. And so since a 4 has to be involved, it does tell us something. But where is that next step? That next logical move that would unlock the next concept. Can a 9 really be, a 1 really be here? No, it can't. It can't be 1, then 4, then 9, or 1, then 4, then 9. So, if that can't be 1, that can't be 4. And then if a 4 has to be in this column and this box, that may mean something later. Meanwhile, we could just also use more information to guess what are in these spots, but I guess that wouldn't be helpful. So either a 4 is going to be in the box on this side or on this side. Could we guesstimate where any number might actually be over here? I think there's too many options here. I wouldn't be surprised if this could be 2 or 3 still, or 5. Well, it can't be 5. But it could be 7, could be 8. Right. So probably not adding too much from that information. I don't think that needs to be marked as an X. If we're going to put more information in. Yeah, arguably if you have an X somewhere and then you start typing numbers, the X probably should just by default disappear. I could see having an option to not have the X disappear. But once you start putting in actual possibilities, if you're properly solving these, you're going to put in all the possibilities to start with the pencil marks. I'm just rapidly losing confidence, unfortunately, as far as whether I can make any further progress. There might be some logic that if this is a 2-3 and this is a 2-8, 4-6, or 3-7, one of these two possibly should be a 3, but I think we would have to get rid of one possible combination here, which we haven't done yet. We could just generally think about what could go in this box. This couldn't be a 1-9. Could it? Sorry, I'm yawning quite a bit here. Yeah, I heard recently that yawning is a way that you subconsciously or automatically cool your brain, so maybe this is a incidence of my brain overheating. Maybe it's an incidence of me just waking up too early and trying to make recordings as quickly as possible instead of fully being awake. Okay. The possible combinations here could be a 1-9 here, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1-9. But this couldn't be a 1. This would have to be a 9. And then this could be a 1. This can't be a 1 because of this. Let's mark that. So if this can't be a 1, then this could be a 9, but then this can't be a 1, so it can't be that this isn't involved in the combination, which means this could be a 9, then it goes this way, and then this can be a 1, or this could be a 1 here. So pretty much the 1 has to be one of these two numbers. Now 1 here, and then it can be 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is there a possibility that the 9 is here though, and then it's 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 here, and then this is a 9 or 1? Yeah, you have two possibilities here. This is one of these two is a 1, and then either your 9 here or here. See, that's weird that it's putting the 9 down at the bottom because it's a bigger digit than the 1, which is getting at the front. Yeah. I would definitely expect a program, the Cracking the Cryptic app, to have all the red colored ones at front and then the dark colored ones on bottom, or something like that, maybe vice versa. Okay, if these two have to be a 1, I mean, there's no possibility of anything else, right? There's no way you get this sandwich without this being a 1 and this being a 9. So from that logic, if we look down here, then these two can't be 1. Can they? Which then means we need a 9 and a 4 and a 1, which, assuming all my logic is correct, means this has to be 9, this has to be 4, this has to be 1. Okay. That, I think, probably significantly reduces the other possibilities of what things can be. We could come back here and we could say this can't be 2, 3 of the remaining digits because this is a 2, 3. So this can only be 7 and 8 as a possible digit. Which, okay. I guess that helps me a little bit. And then I would suspect if this is 4 and this removes the possibility of 4, then this would have to be 6 and this could be 4. That's still doable. And I don't think this 9 really would have eliminated anything else down here as far as possibility, other than a 9 has to either be here or here, which means 9s have to be down here, which we had already known. And this 1 here makes that 9, which makes that 1. Now, if we get back to sandwich, this has to be a 1 now. This has to be a 3. This has to be a 2. And I think very quickly we're going to start filling in things. Let's see. This, what we're saying here, this could have been a 1, 9 at some point, but it's been eliminated from being either a 1 or a 9, so that means 9 has to be here or here. Why was there possibly no information here? Let's mark that as an X just so we remember that. Then, yeah, there's a possibility, I think, that a 9 could be here also. So I guess the easiest thing to do would be to mark that as a 9, mark that as a 9, and then unmark it that way as a 9. So we can remember we are thinking a 9 has to be between those two, but it could be either one. Looking at this sandwich now, we know, since it's only 2 pairs, that this is no longer a 1, 9 and can't be. And since we have to have a sandwich and we're thinking this is a 9 and there can't be a 1 in this box twice, then I think that confirms that that's a 9. So, which then would confirm that that's a 1. But I don't think it's going to confirm whether it's 2, 8 or 3, 7 or 4, 6. It can't be 4 here and 6 here. And it doesn't inherently change anything over on this side as far as the possibilities. Although this can't be a 2, 8 in that there's a 2 here and an 8 here, but it can be a 2, 8 that there's a 2 here and an 8 here. This can't be a 3 And yet, weirdly, the 3 was kept. Possibly because it was in red. And that it was confirming a negative. So it does seem like the program treats negative numbers differently. Red numbers differently than black numbers in the pencil marking. So your system effectively does have to be in line with what Cracking the Cryptic's system is and how he's thinking about things. Wherever the 9 is here will mean where the 9 potentially is here. We could, I suppose, mark that to say that a 9 does have to be in those sections. Not that that really adds much information. Do we have any more information we can determine? You can't have a 9 here and then several digits, and seems like we can't have 1s. Why can't we have 1s? We can have a 1 here, but we can't have a 1 here or 1 here. So if, let's consider this, if this is 1, since it can't be 9, then you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. You can't have a 9 here. So let's just double check this. What can't happen is a 9, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So that's not the combination. Then, in fact, we inherently know what the combination is. We know that there is a 1 here, and then because there is only 6 digits in between that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we know that there is a 9 here. Which that means we're almost completely done with the 9s. And since we know what the combination is, we know that there's not a 5 in the middle there. So the 5 has to be on the outside. That's a 5. Okay. Probably can't make much more progress with a 5 from that point. Although the fact that now a 5 has to be here or here maybe changes some things. But we had already kind of known that. We had marked it even. So the combination here is 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So we can fill in this possibility too, and everything should still work. Well, we know it can't be 2 or 3 because of this. So let's skip those. 4 and 6 and 7 and 8. Are fine. That also means, from the same logic, that 2 and 3 can't be here. And this can't have 6 because there's already 6 in the column. So we're making possibly better progress towards this combination. It does feel like, though, that there is still a possibility, since we know that this 30 row is using the 6 digits, it still feels like there's a possibility that this 30 row could also use the 6 digits. Because it does seem like you could just mix the numbers around so they wouldn't be in the same columns and rows. So yeah, I don't think I can derive any more information from that. Ten is still a possibility. I wish there was kind of a way to check off these rows and columns once we've solved them completely, so we know for certainty. We still have, I guess, both options. This could be 5, 3, 7, or 5, 2, 8. But I guess, yeah, and we've already looked at that one. Already solved that one. Already solved that one. We haven't solved this one. And I guess we can solve this, can't we? We know, since it's a 2-pair combination, that this has to be 9. Then that is 9. And that just leaves us with a 9 here, just by basic Sudoku. And then we are done with 9s. Then, on this could be 3 and 7 this way. Or it could be 7 this way and 2 this way. But if it was 7 this way and 3 this way, then 2 would work. If this was 3 this way and 7 this way, then this could be 6. So that still works. So it does seem like both combinations are still viable. And I would assume we are not at the point where any other basic Sudoku actually would help anything. Yeah, I don't believe there's any other possibility. Well, let's look at ones. We may actually be done with ones now. Yeah, because 1 can't be here, 1 can't be here by basic Sudoku, nor here, nor here. So that's got to be 1, and that is our ones done. And it's probably not super surprising that 1s and 9s get completed early. But that does eliminate 2 out of 9 possible numbers. If this one has to be 2, 3, then these numbers here can't be 2 or 3. Which that reduces the possibility down to 6, 7, 8. At this point, I would also suspect it is slightly beneficial to just highlight every single place where I've placed an X and just remove the X's. Just clean up the field, since X's were exclusively being used to mean it can't be a 1 or 9. And I just can't imagine that I'd ever change my pattern of behavior to assume that X's meant something other than that, Although we may get some weird variant where X's are much more valuable if they mean something else. Yeah. Still have possibilities here. Still have possibilities here. We haven't eliminated it down to only one number can fit in the row. And yeah, I don't think we really are at a point where it makes sense to do this, but I mean, let's try it. What are the possibilities of this square? It could be 2. It could be 3. Can't be 4 or 5. Could be 6. Could be 7. And could be 8. And that would just be all the possibilities. Same is probably true here. Can be 2. Could be 3. Can't be 4 or 5. Could be 6. Could be 7. Could be 8. And there's just too many possibilities for this square and this square to really fill it in. There might be enough possibilities here to justify filling this in, because we know it can't be 1, because we've done all the ones. It can't really be 2 because we know this is going to be 2, 3. Can't be 3 because it's going to be 2, 3. Can be a 4. Can't be a 5. Could be a 6. Could be a 7. And could be an 8. There's really nothing stopping this square from being much of anything. It could be almost anything. Could be a 2, can't be a 3. Could be a 4. Could be a 5. Could be a 6. Could be a 7. Could be an 8. Yeah, and that's probably one that wouldn't really have been worth filling in. It's just going to be a long time before this column gets enough possibilities. Same is kind of true for that. We could consider these boxes here. 5 is a possibility. And we'll have to evaluate how much of a possibility these really are as options. Wait a minute. Is 5 really a possibility? This may be the next step. We have, if 5 was a possibility, you would need to have the 5-digit combination between the sandwich of 1 and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's not a possibility. So this row is the same combination as this row, and that does work. That means 5 is not included. That means this is 5. Okay. Now, does that inherently mean this is 5? I don't think so. I just haven't really filled in the options over here. And that's where your basic Sudoku solutions are going to come into play more. If we know that this is this combination, then we can work off this combination to say, well, it's not a 2 because there's a 2 here. It's not a 3. It's not a 4. It could be a 6. And it could be a 7. And it could be an 8. Yeah. But you almost have a full triplicate of 7s and 8s. So if we figure out what the 6 is, then that would become a duple a pair here of 7 and 8. We didn't know 7 and 8 is not here, and that might help some more. And it may just be easiest to fill in these last few boxes with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we'll go ahead and eliminate 5 because of this column on that. Eliminate 3 because of that column. Eliminate 2 and 4 because of that column. Eliminate 5 because of that. That one stays. This one and this one can lose the 5s there. So now everything is filled in. Which, yeah. 2, 6, 7, and 8 in this box has to go away because we know 2 and 3 and 4 can't be on the opposite side of that. We probably could have updated that information a while ago. The X's and V's aren't really playing a major role. That pretty obviously they are going to be the next stage where you start to really have to look at the X's and V's a lot more. And then after that stage, which might not be that long, we will just solve the rest of the puzzle. That being said, part of this is part of covering these puzzles, if I'm gonna maintain momentum, is gonna come down to me taking breaks when necessary, and I do need to take a break right now. So I'm going to pause the recording. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I did remember to pause this time, so the timing will still be accurate. But also, having taken a break, I've lost all momentum. And inherently, I think in single puzzle games like this, that is what you run into as a problem more than anything else. And when you get into the video game form of solving puzzles, it is usually a better presentation to give smaller, simpler puzzles in great abundance than it is to give one puzzle that is just a giant puzzle that takes forever to solve. And certainly in video games, the witness, it's only spoiling the witness a little bit to say there is giant puzzles that are in part solved by solving smaller puzzles. The entire island of the witness in itself and the entire narrative of the story, for what little narrative it has, is a puzzle. And then there are points specifically where you have to solve a simpler, smaller puzzle before you can solve the next slightly more difficult puzzle in the witness. I don't know how you really do that with Sudoku too well, but in my imagination, and I've said this in a previous episode, I would have every Sudoku grid, every box, 3x3 box, be given hints based on solving simpler boxes. So there would be multiple layers in a 3D pyramid, where at the very bottom of the pyramid there would be potentially hundreds of Sudoku puzzles that are easy, and then solving one of those easy puzzles, the next layer on the pyramid gets more hints. And maybe you have to solve the bottom layer of the pyramid before you can go up to the next layer, or maybe you can work out of order. But then, if I was going to do that properly, I'd probably have to change the rules of Sudoku quite a bit, so that it wouldn't be possible to solve the uppermost layer of a pyramid of puzzles, which would have to be super difficult. Yeah. If anything, it might just be a case that you would make a game kind of like that, even if it's not visually depicted that way, with gates, so you have to solve lower layers, or a certain number of lower layers, before you can try the more difficult ones. In this game, it's doing something like that. You have to have a certain number of stars before you can try unlock the other stars. The problem, though, with the sample puzzles that Cracking the Cryptic has is that the starting puzzles are still fairly difficult, and they only get more difficult. So yeah, I'm rambling on here, and instead of potentially trying to figure out what the next move would be, let's just start over here. We'll just reevaluate everything. We've solved the 4. We know that this is either 5, 3, 7 or 5, 2, 8, and both of those options are still valid. We know the combination here, but there is not yet a way to be certain as to where any one of those digits end up. Here we know that it is either 2, 8 between these two, or 3, 7, or 4, 6. And whatever that combination is here will affect what this combination is, and then we'll know the remaining things, probably. We've already solved the 4 here. There might be a pair I'm missing. We've already solved this. And we know the combination here, but we don't know where to place it. We've already solved this one, and we've already solved this one, and the combination here is one of these 3 numbers. Whatever we find here or find on the outside of this will tell us what. If it's missing a 7, if the 7's on the outside, then we know it's this puzzle. If we find that there is a 3 on the outside, then we know it's this puzzle. And if we find that it is a 2 that's on the outside, then we know it's that puzzle, that combination. This combination we know is either 2 and 7, or 7 and 2, or 3 and 6, or 6 up here and 3 down here. So we can't do anything more with that. And we've already solved the 1 and 9s. So I'm wondering if maybe there's just something about basic Sudoku that I'm overlooking here. That possibly there is only room for one row or column of a certain number, which then will lock down something else. This information is wrong, at the very least, so that might change some things. this information is wrong. Wait a minute, I think we may have it. Even though we should probably go through the rest of this. If we know that the combination can't have a 4 here, and you can't have a 4 here, then we know that 4 is not on the outside, and it can't be that combination. Alright. So that gives us a little bit of progress to make. Let's look at the 5s now. Is there anything else we can find from 5s? Doesn't look like it. Moving on to 6s. If there has to be a 6 here, and there has to be a 6 here because for some reason there can't be a 6 here because of the combinations here don't allow for a 6, then it does allow us to select these, remove those as possibilities. Which maybe doesn't really change anything on this row. But it probably helps a little bit. Let's move on. 7s. Now the deal with 7s, they're going to be that there's a very low chance of any real in with 7s because we don't have a single one already marked. Same potentially is the case with 8s. You just have a really low chance that you would find that 8 could only be in one row and without at least one digit already being filled in. It's probably not worth going back around either. Yeah, going quiet here as I'm trying every combination, trying to see every combination possibly. We could get rid of this 5, I guess. Does that possibly mean now that the only place a 5 can be is here? Yeah, a 5 can't be here. You can't have a 5 here. You can't have a 5 here. We just eliminated the 5 here. That means in this row, 5 can only be here. We can mark that. Does that take us to another step closer, though? In this column, then you just have a 2, 3 here, and a 7 and 8 here. So we know what goes in this column, but that's as far as we can move. Looking at 6s. Looking at 7s again. Just highly unlikely to find anything with 7s. Looking at 8s. And definitely not worth it to go through that a third time. Let's look at it. We're either going to have to look at it by rows or columns or by boxes. And I almost never look at puzzles by boxes, so Let's just consider that. A 6, 7, 8 has to be in this box. There are multiple places where that could be. A 2, a 3, a 4, and a 7 and 8 have to be in these boxes. A 2, a 3, a 6, and a 7 and 8 have to be in these boxes. Yeah, I just don't think that's going to help any. What is the next step? If you were really good at Sudoku, if I was very good at Sudoku, I should be able to find that one box will be affected by another box that then will point to the next box, and there really should just be a way that you could go up a spiral to say this 7, 8 is probably going to get reduced down to either a 7 and an 8 by either this number or this number, which then would possibly be affecting this and this. And in these examples I'm saying here, that's none of that's probably true. We know a 2 or 3 has to be here, but that's pretty much it. Let's look at 5s and consider this. If this was 5, then that would eliminate this from being 5, which could mean this or this would be 5. And none of that would be affected by anything else. So that's totally possible. This 5, same thing, would eliminate these two, but then this could be a 5, which would eliminate that. As soon as we get either one of these 3 eliminated as being a 5, or both of these as being eliminated as a 5 and 2 others, we should be able to lock down the remaining 5s, which probably means we won't lock down the remaining 5s for a while. There is an interesting situation here, and I don't know if there's a great way to depict this. This 2-3 pair here, this 2-3 pair makes a pattern that balances out between this 2-3-7 with this 7-8 here. So whatever this is, the opposite will be over here if something happens, which maybe that means nothing at all. Does mean that the 6 has to be either here or here. Let's see. And then the combination here of the two possibilities are 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. This probably is our next big N. The next thing that would help us. I don't think those colorings help at all though. And a 7 and 8 here doesn't mean anything. So I think in the interest, 127 minutes in the interest of time, it's probably worth it to just do a smart hint and see what I'm missing, because obviously there's something I'm missing here, and if the smart hint tells me an actual hint, then that means it's not some deeper, more complicated type of thinking, it will be just you didn't see this more medium difficulty type solution. That seems to be what smart hints really are, is just we'll tell you generic solutions to simple problems. We won't be able to generate solutions if you have to think 5 or 6 steps ahead. So it says, now that I'm looking at it and reading it, a naked pair box says 2-3 pairs at row 7, column 5, and row 8, column 5. Removes 2-3 as candidates in all other sales of the box. Okay. So we'd kind of known that. And so this hint maybe means I need to highlight that more. We can go and do that. There's not a 2 or 3 in those spots. We know that. Which then means what? That the 2-3 would have to be here. Which you could do. You could have a 2 here and a 3 here. And then a 4 here. And a 6 here. Wait a minute. You couldn't have both 2 and 3 here. And you definitely couldn't have a 2-3 here at that point. But there's still plenty of possibilities and variants here. So maybe it's not this row that we need to look at, but this row. The possible combinations here would be 5 to 8, which would remove the 2-8 possibilities, and let us do a 3-7 and a 4-6, or a 3-7 and a 4-6, which we'd already figured that out. Or it could be 5-2 and then 8, which would remove the 2 8s, or 5-3-7, which would remove the 3 7s. So this not being 2-3 doesn't mean anything to me. I don't think that hint is helping me in any way. So let's click next and see if maybe there's more logic following this smart hint number 1, or if this is just it saying something that I had already confirmed. Smart hint number 2 says, and I feel like if you start changing the puzzle enough, the smart hints go away and reset. So it says a candidate line column in box 8, 2 can only go in column 5, which removes 2 as a candidate from row 1, column 5, and row 6, column 5. Okay, we've still done that. Candidate column in box 8, 3 can only go in column 5, which removes it from this spot and this spot also. And then you have a naked pair, the 7-8 pair in row 1, column 5, and row 2, column 4. Oh, well, okay. I see what we've got here. And I don't think I need to use any more of that hint. So let's just hide that. So yeah, I was thinking there's got to be something that I visually have missed. And I'm right in that I was wrong. I did visually miss miss that there is a 7-8 pair in the box, and had I been paying better attention, had my eyes not wanted to glaze over as much, I would have seen this 7-8 pair when I was looking at the boxes and said, wait a minute, there's a 7-8 pair here, which means this can't be 7-8, which, because of this 2-3 pair, means this can only be 4, which means we've finally made some progress. We've got a 4 now. So then you have a 2-3 pair here, a 7-8 pair here, and this 4 probably won't help us too much with that. The 4 then has to be here in this column, which, if a 4 has to be in this column, does that eliminate this 4-6 combination? Not really, because you could have a 4 up here and a 4 up here. I kind of wish there was a variant or something that would say the numbers must be in a specific pattern, and there is one variant that will say the numbers must be in consecutive order or in ascending order. I guess there's 3 variants actually. There's one that says the numbers must be in consecutive order, one that says that it must be in ascending order, and then there's German whispers that say the numbers must be at least 5 away from each other. It would be too complicated probably to make a variant where they gave you a specific pattern and said you must follow this pattern on specific lines. If you were going to do that, that'd be a very custom Sudoku puzzle that probably couldn't expand into being a variant that would just get played quite a bit more. And I think that means the smart hint was reset. Unfortunately, I may end up just using the smart hint again. If the 4 can't be here, that doesn't tell me anything new. Let's see if we made the same mistake as far as checking the boxes. Let's see if we have a triple or a pair. We have 3 places that possibly could be 2-3, or 4 places that could be 2-3, which that doesn't help. There's a 2-3 possibility here, so you could get a 2-3 pair if we can just guarantee that the 4 is not here and the 6 isn't here. Maybe the possibility of the 4 being here and the 6 being here maybe tells us something more. It all just seems too complicated, though. There's just so many boxes here that I probably caused myself the same pain and suffering here by filling them in with almost every single number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, since we've already solved 1 and 9. And if I had left them blank, there probably would have just been slightly helpful to do it that way. it's totally possible that the 2 is here, then the 3 would be here, then the 2 would be here. It would then eliminate all of those, and then the 2, 3 would be here. It's totally possible that the 2 is here, and then the 3 is here, and the 2 is here, or the 3 is here, the 2 is here, the 3 is here. All of those are still very viable. Yeah, I really don't suspect the basic Sudoku here is gonna save the day. If this was a 6 and this was a 4, that would eliminate this, which would mean the 4 would either have to be here, would have to be here. If the 4 was here, that would eliminate the possibility of a 4, 6 here, which doesn't change anything. Again, in the interest of time, it's probably worth it to just ask for another hint. Of course, I can justify quite a bit in the interest of time. 7-8 pair here, where it's 6, 7, 8, with a 6, 7, 8 here, almost feels like that would mean something. But honestly, I don't think it does. Alright, let's ask the smart hint again. Could not generate a hint, please check the handwritten hints. So we're gonna just have to use the handwritten hints now. Let's see, how far ahead did we make it before we needed to read the handwritten hints? 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the 5s in row 2. For the sandwich, the 1 must be in row 2, column 3, and row 2, column 3 is here. 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are on this spot and this spot. We figured that out. For the sandwich, 1 must be in row 2, column 3 and 7. And 9 must be in row 2, column 5. This is another typo, I think. Or at least it's not explaining itself particularly well. It's saying that either the 1 needed to be here or the 1 needed to be here. Yeah, it says must be in row 2, column 3 or /7, when it should say column 3 or column 7, not slash. Slashes, in my mind at least, mean both, and they don't mean or. One but not both. 9 must now be in that point. Okay, we got that far. It solves all that part. In row 5, 1, 9 cannot be on the same x's between x's, so either row 5, column 1 or 4, or row 5, column 6 or 9. One of those is not 1. Which, in some way, I had already figured that out. And this hint in particular doesn't feel like it really lets you mark much of anything. It's just telling you to keep an eye out that one of these is not going to be 1. Same could probably be true for 9s. It's also pointing out that these couldn't have been 1 9s and these couldn't have been 1 9s. In column 5, 1 is in row 4. Column 5, row 4, 1 is here. And row 7 and 8 in column 5 are 2 3. So therefore in row 8, 1 9 must now be in row 8, column 3 and 7. So I'm not sure I followed the logic there, but that hint did get us, does align with what we've already figured out, that the 1 9 must either be here and here, and we've gone past that part. So we may very well, of the 5 to 8 handwritten hints we may have solved most of them already, and the hope is that we haven't solved all the hints, because then we should be at a state where we could have just solved the puzzle without looking at any hints to start with. It's still talking about 1s, and we've already solved all the 1s. The 1s in row 1 and 2 are in boxes 1 and 3, which, yes, and in row 3, column 4 and 6 is a 1. One of these two is a 1. We figured that out, that it was here. In column 7, the other 1 9 cannot be in row 3, column 7. So it must be in row 2, column 7, and we got that far also. Once 4 is in row 2, column 8, 4 in row 3 must be in row 3, column 3. Now 1 in column 2 must be row 1, column 2. And the outie, that's an interesting phrase, is row 1, column 1. It cannot be a 2 3, so it must be a 5, which we got to that point. Yes. The 1 in row 7 must be placed in row 7, column 8 or 9. So 1 is in row 9, column 6. 1 9 can be placed in row 9, and then row 5, and then row 7, which we solved all of those. The outies in row 1, 9, 1 and 9 cannot be 4 6. No, I guess it's row 1 and row 9. The outies there cannot be 4 6. No, it's row 1 and row 9, column 7. Here. The outies here. This box and this box would be outside the sandwich. And that's what they're calling the outies. It cannot be 4, 6. Why can they not be 6? Well, I guess 4 and 6 both are in both puzzles, where both combinations. Yeah, what else is in both combinations? 5. So it couldn't be 5 either. We had already done that. But the difference between the combinations is one has a 2, one has a 3, one has an 8, one has a 7. Okay. So can't be 46 in positions for 6, then in box 8. Seems like it's going to give me a hint where I can start getting back to solving this myself. Okay, position 6 for box 8 means that row 7, column 7 is not a 6. Okay. We got that. So then this could be a 6, this could be a 6, or this could be a 6. Which then maybe eliminates the rest of these from being 6s. Let's just follow that logic. This can't be a 6, we need a 6 here. Therefore, if the 6 has to be here, none of these have a 6 in them. Which then means that doesn't have a 4. Oh. There. Which brings us down to 2 and 8. Which means that the 4, 6 has to be over here, right? And if the 4, 6 has to be over here, then this is 6. And this is 4. And that eliminates a bunch of possibilities in this box and possibly in the row completely. This still gives you a 2, 8 or a 3, 7 pair possibly here. But it feels like there might be some other Sudoku solutions. If this could still be a 4, 6 here, so that doesn't eliminate enough. We do need a 6 that would either be here or here. Do we have possibly better combinations now that we can figure out? Well, we know it's not a 4, 6. Still could be a 3, 7 or 2, 8. Still feels like there's a lot of room. And I don't think we've done anything with 2s or 3s to change the basic Sudoku. He's solving this with a 4 means this has to be a 4, which means that has to be a 6 by basic Sudoku. Okay. And then apparently can't have a 4 in these spots, and seems like I can't have a 4 here because I can't have a 6 here. Yeah. So No 4 here, no 4 here. No 4s here. That means that's got to be 4. Okay. That probably is as much as we can do with 4s at the moment, though. With the rest of this. It may now mean something. I guess it doesn't, because there's a 4 in both combinations. Fives. That means the 6 is here between these two, which doesn't change anything, but it does also mean a 6 is here. And then we've got a 7-8 pair. This 6 eliminates possibility of E6 being over here. This 6 eliminates this, and then this combination here means 6 has to be in one of these two places. That means this is a 6. Okay, so that and that and that makes that a 6. We may just be able to solve the rest of this with basic Sudoku. Or at least get very close to solving the rest of the puzzle. That being said, still seems like 7 hasn't done anything. Still doesn't feel like 8 has done anything. And it's probably not just going to be the solution to go through everything a second time and look again, even though things do change. So looking a second time does make some sense. Inevitably, there's gotta be a solution here. Or at least more of a solution. These two columns may be the only ones we're still looking at. No, there's still plenty of rows with variety here. We still haven't locked things down. We could try both of these combinations. If it is 5 to 8, then this would be 3-7, which is no problem. If it is 5-3-7, then this would be 2-8, which is no problem. Yeah. Let's see if maybe a smart hint would help us before we go to the handwritten hints. Nope, still gonna have to be on the handwritten hints. So I think we were here. It said the outies in row 1 and 9 on column 7 here and here. Cannot be 4-6, which we got that far. And the positions for 6 in box 8, which is here or here, mean that row 7, column 7 here is not a 6. So the 6 in row This isn't 6. Therefore the 6 in row 4, 5, and 6. The 6 is in here. Okay. Which we probably figured that out, but maybe we need to just mark that as a possibility. The 6 is here, or 6 is here. 6 can't be here at this point. I've already solved past that possibility. And therefore, row 5 and 6 in column 8 here. Six is in rows 4, 5, and 6 here. And then in row 5 and 6 in column 8, these numbers must be 2, 7. Okay. So it's giving me a hint and I know what to type in, I just don't follow the logic. Row 7, column 7. This is not 6. Therefore 6 has to be here or here. Which somehow makes this and this be a 2, 7. I don't get it at all. How are you jumping from looking at the position of number 6 to determining where a 2 and a 7 should be? And see, this is one of those terrible situations where I just don't know if I'm stupid or if whoever wrote this hint made a mistake or was just writing these hints so rapidly or not with any caution that they just are effectively jumping a logical step or making up a excuse as to getting to the final point here that says this must be 2, 7. Right. Where's the logic? Where does this become 2, 7? Could I put a 2 here and a 7 here? Sure. That would make this 3 and 8. Could I put a 2 here, which would make this 8 and 7 here? Seems like I could. So why is 3, 8 not viable? I just don't get it. Let's just try and mark things better. This and this cannot be 4, 6. Okay. And the position of 6 in box 8. This 6 and this 6 mean that row 7 and row 7 column 7 here are not 6. How do we even get to that point? That's a question. I'm just reading these hints over and over again. Also, positions for the 6 here. The 6 has to be here, which we can mark. I guess that up. 6 has to be here. Yeah, what's the logic here? If this is a 6, this couldn't be a 6, but why could this not be a 6? And why even use that logic? See, this is where I know I've solved this puzzle in a different way than the way Cracking the Cryptic, I assume, solved the puzzle and where these handwritten notes are coming from, but why say that the possible positions of a 6 having to be here or here eliminates this from being a 6, instead of just saying that the 6 here, which I've already solved, eliminates that from being the 6. But at a certain level, I guess it doesn't matter, because that's not seemingly even connected to the next part of the sentence. So the 6 at this point in row 4, 5, and 6 of column 6, it's in one of those spots. But we also know already it's not in that spot, because the 4 can't be here. So we now know the 6 has to be here, which we need a 6 in this box. The 6 can't be here, which, yeah, the 6 is going to be one of these boxes. The and part here, just the not even going to make it its own separate sentence, is infuriating. It's just like, so we figured out that the 6 is here. That means in this box there can't be any other 6s in any other place. But at what level does that logic of saying a 6 has to be here translate into that row 5 and 6 column 8 must be a 2-7? What's the logic that's falling apart here? We have no idea what these other numbers are. I mean, if these must be 5 and this must be 6, we may have a 5-6 pair that I'm not seeing. Which it does seem like that probably is the case, since we can't do anything else with the numbers. So we can bring it down to that this is a 5-6 pair. Which then still doesn't change much, because this could be a 3 and this could be a 7, this could be a 7, this could be a 3, whatever it is, it's gonna be a paired. And since 3 and 7 have to be involved, then we know the pattern is not that pattern, which means we can eliminate that from the possibility and that from the possibility, which I guess then makes a 3-7 pair here. So we can eliminate those numbers, which I guess makes it 2 8 pair. So we've got that whole column in as a pair, or groups of pairs. Wait a minute, is that certainty though? Or did I just jump the gun? May have just jumped the gun there. I may have just put some bad information. If this is a 5 6 pair, okay, could this be 2 or 8? Could this be 2 or 8 to pair with that? Yeah. I'd suspect I jumped the gun there, and 2 and 8 are still viable in that spot. I think this 5 6 pair is correct. I think this could be 3 or 7, but it also could be 2 or 8. In fact, it pretty much has to be 2 or 8. Because that's what the hint is saying, is that this is 2, 7. 2 or 7. It cannot be 3 or 8. In what way can this square? For what reason can this square not be 3 or 8? Just by basic Sudoku, 3 still seems to be viable. 8 still seems to be viable. Are we right about any certainty that the outies here are 2 and 8 and possibly not 3 and 7? Let's look at the 3s. And 3 could be here. 7 could be here. 7 could be here. 3 could be here. See, wouldn't it make a lot of sense for the smart hints to be able to tell you a hint when the handwritten hints have taken you as far as already taken you so far? But there should be some basic smart hint to highlight what I'm missing on this. Yeah, so I feel like this hint has gotten me everywhere except for this and part. This and part still just makes no sense. Row 5 and 6 must be a 2 7 because 6 is in row 4, 5 and 6, column 7. Or because this row 7, column 7 Wait a minute, this would be row 7, column 7. Okay, I was looking at the wrong spot. Alright, so that does make some sense here. The position of these two 6s means this can't be a 6. Got to that part. So then 6 has to be here, which we'd already determined that. Okay. Which means these are going to be a 6. But then this one can't be a 6 because of this spot. But we're not considering that solution. Maybe it can be a 6. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe that's the problem. If this could be a 6, then this would have had to have been a 4. And then this can't be a 4. Because this 4 is here. And we know that's right. We know everything that's locked in is right. Always. So if we consider this being a 6, if this is a 6, maybe it were. Maybe we need to look back at this. Let's see. So we figured out this wasn't a 6. We wouldn't have, by this hint, figured out that this wasn't completely a 4. So a 6 here makes this a 6, which maybe means there's some reason why a 2-7 cannot be here and would have to be here. Oh, no, it's actually easier than that. They're just not explaining themselves well enough. And Cracking the Cryptic's YouTube page, I will say, is better at explaining this. They have abridged what he is saying and left out critical facts. Almost certainly what he said here is because of the 9 sandwich, and the 9 and the 1 has to be here by that pattern. This can't be a 3-6 because the 6 has to be here. So it has to be a 2-7, which of the options, this is 2-7. So 3 and 8 are out. And then let's add 2. And then change that from being a 2, 8. And then color in the 2 7s that way. So this could either be 2-8 now, and we probably should just correct this also, which really, it's either going to be a 3 or an 8. It took a lot of work to get to this point. which we can now get rid of these 2 7s as possibilities. Also, if we know 2 and 7s are not here, then the outies are 3 and 8. And that means that 3 is not a possibility. And 7's not a, 8's not a possibility. And using the colors, the red colors, has now really just caused extra cleanup to have to happen. Then the 4 and 6 need to go from this, and then the 3 and 8 needs to go from that. Okay. And so maybe that makes the outies here, if well, we still don't know, do we? We were making progress. I guess the question would be, can we make any more progress? You need a 4 in one of these, and then the other will be paired to this 3 and 8. I don't think we can do much more. Let's just do basic Sudoku and look at this. Maybe these combinations now are locked down. 5, 2, 8. If that was true, then the 8, 2 couldn't be here, and it would be 3, 7. Or 5, 3, 7, which then would make this the 8 and 2. Still very much paired to that spot. The no information really can be collected from that. Still don't think we've locked down enough information for that. If the possibilities here that this can only be 2 or 7, then we kind of need to know. No, we still don't know. This could be 8 and 2, and then 7, or this could be 3 and 7 and 2. Let's see this combination of possibilities. If we see in this that the 7 and 8 are only here, then this has to remove the options of 7 and 8, which brings that down to a 2 or 3, which maybe means now and nothing. It still doesn't mean anything. Wait a minute, maybe it does mean something. Maybe if I'm still on the right path and not just making mistakes and eliminating the wrong thing, if this can only be 2 and 3 as part of an outie, and this can only be 2 and 7 as part of an outie, then it would have to be 3 and 7. So let's check this. Is this 3? Is this 7? Okay. Which then that makes that 8. Which then that makes that 2. Which then makes that 7. And makes that 2. Makes that 8. Makes that 3. So we've got our first box filled in. Through a lot of struggle. And I guess that makes that 7. That makes that 3. Which makes that 2. 6 and 8 still a possibility. This has to be 2 now. There's 7, 8 pair. But then that makes this 3. So that makes that 2. Which makes that 2. Which makes that 2. Which makes that 2. And we are now done with the 2s. And it probably won't be that long before we are done with most of the numbers, as everything is just going to fall into place by very basic Sudoku. We are going to be left with, there's our second box being completed. We're going to be left with very little more challenge. There's our third box being completed. Now we potentially are going to breeze through this. The only thing we could run into is just some pairings that might be somewhat difficult, or some boxes that may have like 3 options instead of 2. There's our fourth box being finished. There's our fifth box being finished. There's our sixth box being finished. So we have all these boxes done, all these boxes done, all these boxes done, just these 2 boxes. And yeah, I shouldn't have to use any other hints at all. At this point, it should just be very basic Sudoku, not having to look at any of the X's or V's or sandwiches. Yeah, that's 8 done. So we only have 3s and 5s left. Moved too fast there and made another mistake. Okay, so we're done here. Absolutely done. It's just this 5 by basic Sudoku that we would fill in. Let's go ahead and see what the next hint would have been. After that point, would have said that row 5, column 7 is now a 3-8, and then row 4 and 6, column 7 are now 5-6. So the 4 in column 7 is in row 7, column 7. We got that solution some other way, possibly through faulty logic. And then a whole wall of text here. I don't even know if I really want to read this. Row 8, column 5 and 6. Let's see. Row 8, column 5 and 6. These 2 are either 2-8 or 3-7. These 2 columns, which must also be in row 9, column 7, and row 9, column 8 or 9. So therefore, row 5 in column 7 which is this one, must be from another flavor, from the other flavor. Interesting, you're using this phrasing of flavor of 2-8 or 3-7 along with row 5, column 8. Now row 5, column 2 and 3. Cannot be the row 5, column 7 and 8 flavor. He's calling them flavors. I would call them pairings, but whatever. I guess pairings in my mind sounds more logical, as these digits couldn't fit. So in column 1 there must be a 4-6. What? So in column 1 they don't mention a column 1 at all in the rest of this paragraph, and D6 in column 1 is way up here and the 4 is way over here. So I don't follow the logic, and I'm not even going to bother to try to follow the logic, where figuring out that this and this have to be different numbers somehow changes something here to being a 3, which then locks you down to this and this being a 4-6. Then the final puzzle part here is in column 4, the 4-6 here must now be on the X, and 3 can be placed in row 6, and the puzzle is completed. So, or now you can complete the puzzle. Yeah, 191 minutes to solve this puzzle overall, and let's see if I can generally think if I enjoyed the partial XVs as an element. If anything, it seems like the partial XVs are very much in the late stage of solving the puzzle, and for the most part you're just solving a basic sandwich Sudoku. And I don't think I fully enjoy sandwich Sudokus, in part because the line just goes through the numbers and that makes it harder to read, and because you're just considering a bunch of combinations. The only way I think I could enjoy a sandwich Sudoku is if it was much closer to doing just like a nonogram and you had a hint in almost every column and every row, and that was the only way to really fill things in. Sandwich Sudokus are not too different away from doing a nonogram, but nonograms tend to be also designed to show a picture in the final product, and this is not really doing that. So that is a 7-star X and V, which puzzle 12 being completed. Yeah. I think what I want is probably a little bit more movement, so maybe I will get that with the Arrow Killer Sudoku, in that I'll be at least somewhat directed to move numbers or place numbers in specific spots. And yeah, that'll be what we try in the next recording. I guess we have all of the puzzles now unlocked. So if I just wanted to jump to this very, very difficult Miser puzzle 23, I could do that. The fact that we still have 10 puzzles in this free selection feels a little overwhelming. And then we also have this variety pack, which when we look at the variety pack, I guess we'll probably have some weirdness here. I wouldn't be surprised if this variety pack is what I should have played first, because looking at it now, there is a simple sandwich Sudoku from the looks of it, and then a simple just night Sudoku, then Thermo, then the non-consecutive Battleberg, I haven't heard of that as a variant, but then simple killer, then classic, then arrow. So yeah, it may very well be a case that I will be incredibly burned out and find the variety pack refreshing in some way, or I might just be so burned out that even the reset of easier puzzles may be way too late to return my mind to a state that would fully appreciate Sudoku puzzles as much as I was enthusiastic for doing these puzzles when I first started this series. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.